Okay, before we kind of hop into chapter 10, there is a couple of review definitions at the top that we need to take a look at because you're going to be seeing them a lot during this unit. You've probably seen them 100 times before, but I know you guys learn a lot every single day, so it's easy to Alright, let's take a look at the first one. So, if I ask for what is the sum of this question, what do you know you are for sure going to be doing to solve this math problem? I'm going to do Ashton, what do I know I'm for sure going to be doing? Adding or addition. Okay, so if you ever see the word sum, you know that you are going to be adding. How about if I ask for, okay, what is the difference in this problem? You know you're going to be doing what? Like subtracting or subtraction problem. Don't care, you know what it means. Okay, if I said, okay, what is the product to this question? Miss Margaret, what do you know you're going to do?
You're going to multiply.
You are going to have a multiplication problem. Sorry, I write a little big, so I kind of go over. And hopefully, even if you're not sure on this last one, you can put the pieces together. Okay, there's 4 operations, and we've done 3. So if I ask for the quotient of something, Jack, what do you know you're going to for sure do? Division. You are going to have a division problem. Okay, we are going to be keeping these sheets here. Keep them out, we're still going to use them. Solely for the fact that if I had $1 for every time somebody said, well, I don't know what to do for this problem, and it says one of those words, and then I can't remember it, you can use your resources. Will you be able to use this worksheet on your test? No, but every day leading up to that test, you will be able to use this to help you remember. Huh? A lot of them. Okay. If you think back, I know we did a little bit of this earlier in the year, but this chapter really focuses on taking a kind of a word problem or a situation and writing a number sentence. Okay, so that's a big part of what we are practicing today. When you have a number sentence, what do you normally have inside that number sentence? You have, kind of your numbers that they give you, but what else, Lincoln?
Variable.
A variable. Okay, and how do we use a variable in a number sentence? What do we use to show that, hey, this is a variable, we're not sure what this is, but we're going to try to figure it out? Ashton? A letter. Remember, I would say, I don't care if you use C for cookies, or P, or Q, or A, or B, as long as you had that variable inside your number sentence.
Okay, could you use like Lincoln for money, or Lincoln for red?
It would have to be a letter. So if you wanted to use L for every variable, you could, but you wouldn't use Lincoln. You would just use one. Okay, so I wanted to write a number sentence for this first one. Okay? So we need to write a number sentence that would give us the sum of 7 and the quantity 8 times x. Who has an idea, even for part of that, what that number sentence would look like? Don, what do you think?
8 plus 7.
No. What do you think, Blake? Or no, take it back. What would my number sentence look like? If I took this whole big sentence with lots of these words, and I just made a number sentence, what would it look like?
Wouldn't the sum be 7? Like, the sum of 7, wouldn't that be 7? Because, like, you can't add. What does it mean by, like, the sum of 7?
Well, what does sum mean? Adding. So, what are you going to be doing to that 7?
Add 7?
Okay, so somewhere, we're going to be adding 7, right? The sum of 7 and the quantity, not quotient, quantity 8 times x. Margaret, what do you think the rest of it might be?
Probably 8 times the number plus 7.
Bingo. Okay, but this is very important. You will see this on Excel multiple times today. Okay? 8 times x. Okay, am I going to write it like this? No, why not?
Because that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
Looks like 2x.
Yeah, it's 2 x's, or it'd be like 2 letters back to back. Okay? Instead of writing 8 times x, if you remember way back to when we used to do number sentences, I know that if I have a letter right next to a number, it means what?
It's a tiny little thing.
You multiply it. Okay? So I don't need 8 times x, because I know that 8x means they're multiplying it.
What are multiplying what?
8 times x.
What's that?
We don't know. That's why it's a variable. We don't know it yet. Yeah, I just used x in this one because it says x, but if it's a different letter, yes. And there will be different letters that we use. Okay? Don't panic if this is a little fuzzy right now. Okay? We're going to do a bunch of examples. Okay? But I'm just taking all this extra long words, long sentences, and we're shortening it down into a number sentence. Okay? So you should have this written on your line. I see a lot of empty papers.
What's the quantity? Plus
The number. Okay? So this one I need a number sentence for the quantity 3 times x and then add 1. What could maybe part of my number sentence look like, Aiden?
3 times. Oh, it's kind of just like
3 times.
3 times this.
Plus 1. How would I write 3 times x?
Normal size x.
Yeah. Yup, exactly. And that's 8, and that might be what you meant. Right? Because I know 3 times x, 3 times x,
Add 1.
then add 1. Okay? I like to kind of think of it just as like they're giving you a bunch of puzzle pieces and you kind of have to put them together to make sense and get your clear picture. Okay, so you just took the puzzle pieces they gave you and came up with your number sentence. You should have this one written down if you haven't yet.
Oh.
Some of you kind of need to focus and stop staring off in La La Land.
Where's Lila? There? Oh, it's right there.
Okay, 6 plus the product of negative 1 and x. So who can think of even part of it? You don't have to have the whole thing. What do you think, Lincoln? What could part of it be?
Like, put 6 and then addition sign.
Okay, so there's my 6 plus.
And then, like, a negative 1 and then x after.
Okay, what does product mean? What am I going to be doing again? Multiplying. Okay, so the product, how could I do that? The product of -1 and x. Like,
A negative 1 and another x next to it. Oh, I can't.
negative. Oh, sorry. I'll fix it.
I actually had that wrote down.
Okay. Yeah. Great, because the product, this would be like if I had a times x. We don't do that. But the product of -1. Order of operations, you do the multiplication before the adding and subtracting. So
Like
you,
if you're just to like do 6 plus -1 like that.
yeah, that'd be fine. Yep.
That's weird.
Okay, so far so good. Things like 3/4 of you are like with me, you're participating, and the other half of you, I'm not sure if you are conscious. Okay, of course, this is math. They're gonna throw in some word problems, right? Because are you even doing math if you don't have word problems?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Sue and Jamal. Sue weighs 10 pounds less than Jamal. If J is going to show us, J represents Jamal's weight, what number sentence could we write so we could figure out Sue's weight? Okay, so when I come to these, the first thing I'm going to write down is my variable. I know, would they really give me J equal Jamal's weight if I'm not even going to use it? No. They give me that variable because I know somewhere I'm going to have a J in my number sentence. Okay? What could I do to that J so I could figure out how much Sue weighs? Miss Delilah? J minus 10. Because Jamal's weight and Sue weighs 10 pounds less. So if you take 10 away, you're always going to know Sue's weight. Whether Jamal weighs 50 pounds, whether Jamal weighs 100 pounds, you can figure out how much Sue weighs. Right? Are you with me? Okay. Tyler, put your sweatshirt on. Let's take it off. Okay. Now we have Isaac and Alex. Isaac collected twice as many cans as Alex, so maybe they're collecting cans for 100. Okay. If A is the number of cans Alex collected, what number sentence could we make so we could figure out how many Isaac collected? Okay. My first stop, what variable do they give us? A. I know I'm going to have A in here somewhere. I'm not sure yet, but I know I'm going to use it. Okay? If A is the number of cans Alex collected, Caleb, how can I figure out how much Isaac collected?
Multiply Alex's amount by 2.
By 2. Because, remember, Isaac collected twice as many cans. So if you just take how many Alex collected and multiply it by 2, we can figure it out. Whether Alex collected 100 cans, maybe Alex only collected 1 can, maybe Alex collected 25 cans. No matter how many Alex collected, we can figure out how many Isaac collected. Okay, so far so good?
Yeah.
I think most of you are okay.
Is this algebra?
This is the beginning of algebra. You got it.
I hate that. I like it.
Algebra. Okay. So again, another number problem. So I gave you homework yesterday and giving you homework today.
Wait, what homework is
There are half as many problems on today's assignment as there was on yesterday's assignment. Okay, so you're trying to figure out, okay, how many homework questions is Miss Marcy going to give me? And you can figure it out by knowing that you're going to get half as many today. If y is the number of problems on yesterday's assignment, what number sentence can we figure that out? So what's our variable? Y. I know I'm going to have y. What can I do to y? So the number of yesterday's problems, so I can figure out what we have to do today, Jocelyn. Divided by 2.
I would just say do it twice. Like what you have to multiply by 2 because they're
Yes. Yep. Good catch. Okay, so maybe yesterday you got 10 questions. How many questions are you going to get today?
5.
5. Yep, because you just put in whatever number for your variable. Okay, I know that you do not have this on your worksheet. Okay, so Joe and Maria are 5th graders. Joe is always 2 inches taller than Maria. We want to know kind of possible heights for Joe and Maria. What's a number sentence that we could use to figure out how tall Joe and Maria could be? Carter, what do you think?
You want like the ones that we just did?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, you could be Joe.
Okay, so J is Joe's height. So Maria is always 2 inches shorter than Joe. So if you take whatever Joe's height is and you take 2 away, you're always going to have Maria's height.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was flipping it around from what the instructions said. Okay, so let's say the first time Joe was measured on the first day of 5th grade, Joe is 48 inches tall.
Wait, that is just a 3 feet?
Okay. If I take this Joe's height, which I know is J, and I put it in for J, how tall is Maria?
46.
46. Okay. Because that J is no longer a variable. I told you that J is 48. So you can just put it in and figure it out. What if, okay, it's a couple months later, and Joe grew a couple inches, and Joe is now 50 inches tall. How tall is Maria, though, now?
48.
48.
Our feet 50. And Joe is
55.
It's a little over 40.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Let's see. Miss Marston forgot to measure Joel's height for a while. He was eating all his vegetables. He was exercising. He was being very healthy. And he grew
5 feet.
up to 56 inches. Okay, so Joel's 56 inches now. But how tall is Maria?
48 inches.
54. Because it's always 2 inches shorter, just like our number sign. Okay, Miss Marston dropped the ball. Man, Miss Marston forgot to measure Joel one last time. Joel's now in like 9th grade. And Miss Marston sees him and goes, oh, I never measured you the last time for my height chart. So he lets me measure how tall he is. And Joel is now 70 inches tall. Okay? Without having to hunt Maria down to find out how tall she is, how tall do I know Maria is?
68.
68.
Wait, that has to do it.
9,000 miles.
Okay. Thumbs up. You're feeling pretty good about writing number sentences. You think you got the variables down. Thumb to the side. If you're like almost there, you're catching on, you just need a little more help. Or thumbs down if you really have not been paying attention at all. Okay. Okay. They did the first one for you. These are just like the ones we just did. I just want to do a couple more practice in case you're like right hanging on the edge of just having it down. So the first one says, if Beth's allowance is $2.50 more than Kesha's allowance, then we know that Beth's allowance is, and we have our number sentence. They give you, in case you don't notice when you're doing these later, they give you the variable kind of over here. So it's not right in the details of the question, but it's just a little bit over the side. So Kesha's allowance is D in dollars. So I know that I can always know how much Beth's allowance is if I take D for Kesha's allowance, and she's always getting $2.50 more.
Oh, she's lucky. Whoa. It's like I get $100. So what if she gets paid $10?
So Leon's working a job. He works really hard, and every single week he gets a $5 raise. Okay?
That's better than my dog.
Over here it tells us that Leon's salary is S dollars per week. Okay? So what do I know my variable is?
S.
S. I know I'm going to have an S in here somewhere. I don't really know what yet, but I know what's going to be in there. How can I use that S to figure out a number sentence for if he got a $5 raise every week? Are we done? Okay. Lincoln, what do you think?
S plus $5.
Plus 5.
Do we even know what a salary originally was?
No, but does it matter?
No.
No, maybe they'll say, okay, the very first week he started out, he only got $10 that first week. But how much did he make the next week he worked?
15.
15, because you added 5 onto it. But I don't get it. Okay. If Ollie's grandfather is 50 years older than him, what's a number sentence we could use to figure out how old Ollie is? Okay, and it gives us our variable as what?
G.
G. So I know I'm going to have G in there.
G years old.
Okay? What could I do to G, or how old his grandfather is, to figure out how old he is?
Figure out how.
Okay, Danny, what do you think? Minus 50. Next time you're interrupting me, I'm going to ask you to leave. Okay, so if whether, do you have an issue with what I just said?
No.
Okay. So if Ollie's grandfather is 60 years old, how old is Ollie? 10. Maybe it's a couple years later. Ollie's grandfather is now 68 years old. How old is Ollie?
87. So if he was 97, he would be 87. No, 40. 27.
Okay. I think there might be one more. Okay, so this summer, we're working on potato farms. Every day, we are bringing in 7 baskets of potatoes. But, we don't know how much each basket weighs. Okay, what's the variable we're using for that?
Pounds.
P, right? P per pound. So I know I'm going to have the letter P in my numbers are not there. How can I figure out if I'm bringing 7 of those baskets, how many pounds am I going to be carrying in of potatoes every single day? Times 7. Because I don't know how much each of those baskets weighs, but I know that there's going to be 7 of them. What's another way I could write that? I can write it like that, but is that really the right way to write it?
No. Wow. Do you put the P? Oh, okay. So say this is P. So you put 7 right next. Like with no mark.
So like that?
Yes. No. Yes. No.
You're kind of right. Don't ask me why. I don't know why they do it, but you're right. We take out kind of the multiplication point or multiplication points, the multiplication sign, but for whatever reason, they flip it so the number goes first. They like the number to always come first. Yep, because you know that when a number is right next to a letter, you're multiplying. Okay.
I don't think I see one small thing because it's so hard.
Well, it gets harder, but this is like the first thing. Okay.
P times pi times C times pi.
So here is what I have us doing up until Fayed and then after lunch. Okay. If you were giving me thumbs to the side or thumbs down, or if you're still feeling like that, if you're still like, I'm almost there, I'm just not quite. Okay, you are going to bring your book back to my table to page 342. Okay,
What's that exactly?
if you are sitting there thinking, I'm rocking this, I got it, I'm ready to try it on my own, you are going to go to those skills on IXL. Now hold on. Let's say you think you're ready, you start getting on IXL and you get a couple of questions wrong and you don't know why. What should you do? Either come back and ask me, we can work together at my table, or ask a neighbor, but don't just sit there, okay? It won't help anybody. Okay, go ahead and start.
So, how do I show them?